Hey y'all, welcome to another episode of Girl You Know It. Boo, 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 beep, 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 beep.
Air horn.
All the sounds. For those of you who are joining us for the first time, Girl You Know It is an offshoot podcast for Black Women Connect Vancouver. Black Women Connect Vancouver is a collective of women and femmes who come together to inspire, empower, leverage our strength, and embrace our diverse experiences. It's a community where us folks in Vancouver can build meaningful relationship and celebrate the beauty of Black womanhood. Girl You Know It is a space where we want to create connections in different ways, talk about hard stuff, serious stuff, fun stuff. We want to laugh, cry, all of it. And just embrace our experiences as Black women. My name is Abby. I am one of your co-hosts. I am the project coordinator for Black Women Connect Vancouver. And we have our other lovely co-host here, the lovely Elle. Introduce yourself.
Thank you. So for those of you who don't know me, my name is Elle. I am a community engagement and volunteer coordinator for Black Women Connect Vancouver. I've been doing it since 2019.
Yes.
I'm very excited to be here. Very excited to do this. Yeah.
And we love doing this together. We're Kenyan sisters.
Exactly,
we always say this. Kenyan sisters.
Because we have the psychic thing. We'll be like doing something and we're like, da-da-da, and it's like, Kenyan sisters.
Yes, I love it. But we don't want to forget, we have a lovely, amazing guest here today. The wonderful, the amazing, the inspiring Shayla Bird. Welcome, Shayla.
Thank you for having me.
We're so excited.
I'm so excited too.
We are going to really dive in about this episode. Let's talk about this episode. Mm-hmm. This episode is focusing on education. Mm-hmm. Education as Black teachers, as Black people, as Black students, and the realities of it. Yeah. But before we get into the deep stuff, Shayla, we just want to get to know a little bit about you.
Yes.
Tell us who you are, what you is, your sign, your hot drink.
I have like signs we like inside. Like what's the deal with the signs?
A whole other episode.
I know, right? They should. That's your episode,
that's
girl.
Mine for sure.
Are you?
Every time I'm like, when you travel, you need to make sure. Yeah. No, huge. Like huge. Yeah.
Okay. I'm an Aquarius.
Okay.
I don't know what that means.
Yeah.
I just had my birthday a couple weeks ago.
Happy
birthday.
Thank you. Yes, I mean, I'm dual citizen, born in Atlanta, Georgia. Shout out to the South.
Yes.
Then I was raised in Abbotsford, so I said I went from the A to the other A.
Yes, I like that. Cute.
So yeah, growing up in Abbotsford, adopted. Abbotsford at the time in the 90s was, a predominantly white space. So my whole life I kind of just like grappled with my biracialness as well too. Kind of like passing in some instances, but then in other instances not. So kind of just like navigating those two kind of sides. And then came out to Vancouver in August of 2023, and I've just like loved the community that's been out here. Absolutely love Black Women's Connect. Everything that you guys do. I draw inspiration from groups and affinity spaces like this one, and then a lot of other good examples in the province as well too. So.
I love that. So tell me, okay, your hot drink that you prefer. That's my question to you. What do you prefer to drink? Are you a coffee girly? Are you a tea girly? Are you like, no hot drinks, I just want iced everything?
No, we like the hot drink.
Okay.
So I love to start with like some lemon water in the morning, only because I was told that was like great. So, we just like,
you're just taking it. Yeah.
I'm like, okay, sure. So love the lemon water. But I do love a cappuccino. So a cappuccino, I try to maybe have like 3-4 coffees a week, just because anything else. Yes,
wow.
Yeah. Anything else, I'm just like buzzing. Like I'm already buzzing in life. So I just
you are brave. You are brave, girl. I'm like, at least I need one piece of like caffeine a day.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be honest with y'all. I don't drink caffeine anymore.
Oh,
I cut it out like
what?
A year and a bit ago.
No way.
Yeah, it was for medical things. I was like, I'm gonna try it, and I like crashed real hard.
It
was like the withdrawal.
No, it's so
happening.
real.
And then I haven't. So like today, I'm drinking a tea. It's like I can count on like one hand how many caffeinated drinks I've had in the last year and a half.
Yeah.
This is probably like number 3.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well,
Crazy.
you guys are coming off a big conference.
Yes,
so
yes.
Give me all the coffee. I seriously need it. Sometimes desperate times call for desperate measures.
Yes, exactly. Desperate measures.
Yeah.
But it's all fun. It's all fun. Oh my goodness. But aside from that, we're talking about education. Can you tell us a little bit about your education history? A lot of people might not know who you are, what you do. Tell us about that.
So I grew up nature and nurture for me. My biological father and his mother were both educators.
Oh.
Then the parents that I grew up with, my mom and dad, they're both educators as well too.
Oh,
so
that's
for
so
me,
cool.
It's a dynasty.
It's a
Wow.
dynasty. I always knew I was going to be an educator, and I just felt it in my bones, like in the first grade. I loved my teachers. They were so kind and nurturing to me, and I wanted to be that teacher to other kids, but with the flavor that was missing in my K-12 experience.
Flavor with an A, right?
Yeah, exactly.
No, like I needed a black female in my life, and I still to this day haven't had a black teacher. I've done 2 undergrads. I'm doing my master's in education right now, and so I'm craving still someone who can just teach me.
Yeah.
And I have teachers, but it's in the community, but it's one thing to actually see it in an institutional setting where I'm getting graded and where I'm like getting feedback, and I'm like, I wonder if my feedback would be a little bit different.
Yes,
absolutely.
So
I have a quick question for you. Did little Shayla in grade 1, was she like, y'all, I'm gonna teach you, I'm gonna be your TA, I'm gonna teach all my fellow classmates if they're struggling? Were you that person who like people came to?
I don't know if I was until like maybe in secondary school when I felt a little bit more confident in who I was.
Okay.
I think I'm actually a shy person. Which
Oh, really?
Is really weird.
Yeah?
Which is really weird. Like my grade 1 teacher told me that. She's like, you're actually shy. And I'm like, I think I'm more shy than I put out. And then just because of like who I am and like who I was when I walked into the room, I was always given these like large responsibilities that I didn't necessarily ask for, but
they
I
were
had to just step into that role. And so a leader by choice, but also by
force.
By
demand. Voluntold, definitely.
And I do that to my kids as well too. I look at them and I notice their strengths, and I'm like, you have to step up.
Yeah.
Like, unfortunately.
So then it's actually not a voluntold thing. It's more like I'm gonna pull out the capacity in you.
Yeah. I like
in a
that.
good way.
I like that.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
I'm gonna really reframe, because you're doing it in a kind way to set them up for success in their own leadership in the future.
Yeah. And we need them.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We need them in BC as well too.
Oh,
That's one
word.
thing.
Word.
Everyone wants to go to Ontario or go to our friends down in the south of the border, and like that's all well and great, but we do need black folks, black educators, black community. Like we need to stay here, take up our space.
And I'm trying right now.
That's what you're doing right now.
Yeah, well, like a lot of people don't know, but currently I'm a student right now doing my PDP through SFU. So I'm finally getting that stamp. I have been teaching and educating, but now it's actually being
for real,
like service, and getting them degrees.
Certification.
Yeah. But yeah, so I am currently in the thick of it and dealing with a lot of curriculum and
Abby loves homework.
That
is sarcastic. That's a very big sarcastic thing.
I will never miss PDP lesson planning, reflecting.
Girl, I have some things. I have a few reflections waiting for me.
She has feedback
and feedback that I gotta do. But the thing is, what makes it exciting? It's like, it's so tiring, but it's like I want to be there.
Yeah.
This is my avenue to it, and it's necessary for me to go through this thing. So it's hard, but it's also, I want to read those texts. I want to read all the new information that we're getting and reflect. And
for the kids.
For the kids.
At the end of the day, it comes down for the kids. Like we do this for the youth. We do this for.
You said
Because
that?
just like
And I was like, for the children.
for the children. Yes.
Exactly. No, it
Sorry, I
is.
interrupted you, but you were like, for the kid, for the
For
children.
children. That's what was going in my mind too. So you
Does
just
it sound like a meme or something?
It's like this like callback to like everybody who's like doing charity, maybe backhanded way, but it's like we're doing everything awful and da da da.
but it's for the children.
And in that like tone. Sorry, I'm gonna do off track stuff.
Don't be sorry. I love it. I love it. But like what you were saying before, I got into this because I kind of always knew that I was going to be an educator or actually have some part in some way dealing with children, teaching, helping, and the teacher fit that role. And I don't know where I was going with that. There was something, but then it went.
That's me. I did
it flew away. But that's okay.
But I also want to say that, like, knowing you, Abby, you're a really patient and empathetic person. So it makes sense that you would go into teaching. Like with the volunteers that we have, like, you're really like, hey, da da da. And sometimes I forget. And I'm like, do this. And it's so good to have Abby to counterbalance me.
That's why it's a team.
Yeah. No, our team works really well. I love our team.
It really does.
Go us. Okay, enough about us. Let's continue. We have a wonderful guest here. We need to talk to her. Can you tell us a little bit what you have been doing or implementing in the schools recently, specifically with Black Connections?
Yes. Black Connections started in the university like a while ago.
I was a part of it. I was a part of the Black Connections way back when.
And then we took it from the university and implemented it into the secondary schools because the students needed a affinity space, a safe place for them to come. There was a lot of racism happening to these kids. There was a lot of like verbal hate crime, and there wasn't a lot of accountability being taken by administrators, superintendent, distant personnel, teachers. It was perpetuating this cycle of anti-Black racism in the systems, which is still alive
and well and thriving. Yes.
But spaces like Black Connections really bring students together, help them build community, help them understand and make connections with other kids in the district.
And build language.
Yes.
In facing the experiences that they are facing, right?
Just like talking about language, like that's why when the pandemic and the Black Lives Matter happened in 2020, like there were people who were posting on Instagram, and I'm so grateful for their posts till this day because they were introducing me to terminology that really helped me understand my experiences of what happened to me kind of when I was growing up. Like
girl.
Okay, bring it.
Like, to be honest, truly, like I when you were a kid and because we didn't have vernacular, you're like, I know something is wrong.
Yeah. But how do I
know that this is not correct? The way that I'm being treated is not right. But how do I explain that? And if I say something without having the right words, they're just going to invalidate my experience. Yeah. So I can't even imagine what kids are feeling right now when they have the language and they're still being invalidated. Yeah.
Like this is a microaggression and it's turning into a macro. Like it's just like understanding what's happening is so important. So we as a team work in a school district where Black Connections HS gathers kids together. It started as a district funded program, which was beautiful. And then as things happen in education, funding gets pulled back and it's a wave.
It is a wave.
What we think is important at times, and we see we're seeing a regress in education when it comes to equity, diversity, anti-racism, and specifically Black racism that's happening. There was a huge acknowledgement, and now we're going back, and it's sad to see, but there still are great groups that are forming and teachers who are doing really great groundwork and kids who are. Student voice is everything. Yeah. And so that's one thing that I think is important for educators in the profession to know. It's like, you may have something that you want to see come out. Like maybe you want to have a course that talks about the African diaspora, but the only person who's really going to be able to push that forward is getting kids on board and them talking to teachers and administrators about why they think it's important. Unfortunately, principals, districts, they don't care about us as teachers. They care about the kids and the parents.
So we need to hear those voices.
Exactly.
We need to hear those student voices. But unfortunately, sometimes if there is not a Black individual in the school, these kids are like, how do we, unless you have one or a few kids that are really pushing for it, it's hard for them to stand their ground. But there are teachers out there that are not Black or people of color that are allies and they want to help. But sometimes it's hard to help in these situations and know the right things to say or how to facilitate this. So
which is frustrating because like it's great that those allies are doing the work, because outside of that, it's like the people who are experiencing the racism have to do the work to dismantle the racism. What? And their children. What? Like that is heartbreaking.
We need to reflect as a society why teacher candidates, like there's less than 1% of Black teachers in the education system in BC, but our student population is making up 5 to 6% of it. So we need to understand that we need more representation in teachers so they can connect with the youth. And then ask ourselves like the bigger questions, like, why are teachers leaving the profession after 5 years? 46% of teachers are leaving the profession. But that's a broad statistic. We need to look at a more narrow specific about Black teachers. Why are they leaving the profession?
Because if you like if you put the like microscope on that, Black people will probably be leaving higher percentage.
And like just like you were saying, like Black teachers are leading this work and experiencing pushback on all ends while still trying to move forward. It's not sustainable. They're going to burn out. It's inevitable. So
the rage.
there are so many hard things about this, but also really rewarding stuff. Can you share a little bit of like rewarding in terms of education, not just within the schools, but like what you've been doing specifically with like Hogan's Alley too?
Yeah, that was so great. First of all, shout out to Black Ed BC.
Yes.
I love Heidi and her sibling. They started it, and it's a group for Black educators to get together and just share various opportunities that are happening, whether it's like employment opportunities or community opportunities or curriculum opportunities. So like that's huge. That's positive. With my work in developing curriculum, I've been able to talk with a lot of different community members and historians who really dive into the history of Blacks in British Columbia, a topic that's often intentionally erased. And with that, I've been able to learn a lot more about Hogan's Alley and that significance, and then also like the lead up to Hogan's Alley as well too. Like, where did that start? Why did this community start?
Sorry to just stop you. If you guys don't know what Hogan's Alley is, where's a great place to research or find the information? Because there are viewers or listeners who don't even know.
Don't even know because they're not from like Vancouver.
Yes.
And also allies who are like, huh? Like they don't know. So
or tell us a little bit about Hogan's Alley. What is Hogan's Alley?
Okay, so let me start with a good documentary that everyone can watch. It's on CBC. It's called Black and Origin Series, and it's why are you guys laughing?
Well, Black Women Connect Vancouver
is featured on it.
Yes, we are. We were featured on it. You didn't watch it? No, you need to watch it. It's so good.
It's the only reason why I should watch it. It's because I don't like watching myself.
Yeah. I know. Did we listen or watch our podcast back? No.
I do totally watch our podcast
we do.
Back for
sure. What are we talking about?
But yes, continue. Sorry.
Yeah, so that is a great research tool. And I mean, Hogan's Alley, it was a thriving Black community located off of Chinatown, which now is in present day Strathcona. It made up a block of quite a diverse amount of people. Like, it wasn't just Black people living there. It was like immigrants coming. And it was a safe place for the Black community to exist. It was the only place a Black community could exist. And that was because of the close proximation to Chinatown, which was also considered an undesirable neighborhood at the time. And it also made sense for families to settle there because of the proximity to the railway stations, which is where a lot of Black men found employment as porters. And then the thing that I love to hear the most is that women were like the entrepreneurs and the heart and soul of that. Which
Like they always have been, to be really honest with you.
Period.
Honestly. But Vi's Chicken and Steaks is probably the most notable gathering spot, food spot in the area. But to actually answer your question, Abigail, like I think we need more places to actually find this information because
You are currently creating curriculum based on Hogan's Alley and the work there and the
it's
eraser.
taken a lot of like
right?
me going to the archives at UBC. I was like, the archives say what?
She's like,
it's treasure hunting for history that is
in the city. Yes.
Totally.
Wild.
So
but
many
we
great
are
people doing the work, though.
we are thankful for you and
Yeah.
all the people that are trying to bring light into this, right?
The like
Matt.
pause.
It's just like
No,
it's
it
because we're like
is.
processing. I'm thinking. I'm like,
I
damn. Yes, we
know.
need more information.
And it's like, it's actually like a time to reflect at how good bodies of government and people who are in power are at erasing and intentionally erasing people's histories. It's like,
Ooh.
interesting. Wow. And then we also have to evaluate oral storytelling and primary, secondary, like where are we valuing, where are we putting emphasis on the importance of history and permanent exhibits versus temporary exhibits. It's all questions that we need to start asking. We are asking them.
We're asking
We are
them.
asking them, yeah.
And it's still related to, again, education and knowledge dissemination so that at least people can have access and knowledge to honor and to like remember this, like similar to the way that we do, like land acknowledgements. Like we're always going to like have that in the forefront of our heads, but also just to like acknowledge that like the buildings that are being inhabited, I mean, that displaced so many people, right? So then like, how is it that people who are, or kids who are going through the education system are not learning about this? And it's like not until 2020, 2021, 2025, when Shayla's education curriculum gets into the, you know what I mean?
Right.
Right.
That shouldn't be it, because then it's like you're shocked. I was shocked. Like I didn't have any. I grew up in Vancouver and I was like in the city. I did not know about Hogan's Alley until I was like mid-20s.
Yeah, same.
Black-ish, like blackness, it just keeps getting pushed back. Like we're like the last to be
Always.
like, yeah. And it's just like, you can see it happening like historically, presently, like right now, today in education, like it's like just a extra side thought.
Always.
Yeah.
And it's again, like you said, like the skill as to how the disappearance of information is.
And I just want to say, like, I don't think that teachers are like intentionally trying
It's
to
not
not
teachers.
no.
about this. Like, I don't think
No.
community members are like turning an eye
No.
to the
This
truth.
is a broader system issue.
Exactly.
Oh, for sure. Just like funding, right?
Yeah, broader system
Why,
issue.
like you said, why were we getting so much funding right after the rise of Black Lives Matter, all this, and now it's like dissipating. And we're still trying to,
100%.
Find it.
reach for it.
Dig for it.
These are the realities, even us as Black Women Connect
Yeah.
Vancouver, since we're all volunteer based
Yeah,
and
nonprofit.
So we're trying to get that funding, but people are not giving. We understand economy,
Yeah.
Sure.
but these are serious issues that
Yeah.
we need to be talking about,
Yeah.
that we need to be funding, and that we need to be, putting our.
Yeah, and the last thing I'll talk, just because we're talking about funding and just like the regression of it, when the Black Lives Matter movement was happening and people were marching on the Georgia Viaduct and putting all those signs, it really put pressure on the city of Vancouver to actually address the fact that there's no cultural center in Vancouver. And there
Yeah,
hasn't
isn't
been.
that wild?
And so there was like,
culture has to be-
no, I know. And after they were like, okay, we're gonna put in this plan, and now you go and ask about it, and you try to find. It's like,
Where did it go?
where is it going?
The evasion, the evading of the question.
Yeah.
Okay, but like I want to know. Speaking of lighter topics, I want to know what your funniest experience in teaching has been.
Can you think
Funniest?
Yeah, like a student who was like, you like obviously couldn't laugh at them, but inside you're like, I'm dying on the inside. I'm gagged. I'm deceased.
Usually it's just like about the comments that they make. Kids are funny. Kids are hilarious.
So funny.
And they're truth tellers for real.
Oh, they're so true. Well, there's this one kid who I'm forever heard about this, but it's like hilarious. One day he asked me, he's just like, Miss Kibbs, like, do you draw your eyebrows? I was like, what? I'm like, yeah, I penciled them in.
Oh my God.
He's just like, yeah, they kind of look like sevens. And I was like, ah! He went boom. I said, what? Ah!
Oh my God.
You know, and I barely even wear makeup to work. The only thing that I do was focus on my eyebrows, and that day I was just rushed. So apparently they look like sevens. Now I'm very aware. Don't be looking at my eyebrows, y'all, in all those photos and start drawing sevens on them. Please don't.
Like, oh yeah, there
but like, you know, sometimes these kids, they will just get you and they will roast you.
and I true to it. Like that's the worst part.
Right? I was like,
I do have sevens.
You
on my
were
face right now.
about it exactly, and they got you. Can I have a question?
Yes.
How long ago was that?
that was like 3 years ago
It's
now.
years.
Yeah.
That's what I mean. Kids say something to you. It's years that it's held with you. What about you?
I was just thinking like the other day, it's not too funny, but kids are just funny,
Yes.
period. Like I laugh all day.
Yeah.
Sometimes they're a little bit inappropriate.
Oh,
and you
so
like
inappropriate.
can't laugh, but like
No,
in
you
your head,
can't.
you're just like, wow, like that's so funny. But it was like an outside day and it was a little bit cold, and this little boy had on a t-shirt, and I look at him and I was like, are you chilly? Do you want to go in and get your jacket? And he like looks down and he's like, that's why I got these muscles. I'm like, oh my gosh. I'm like, all right, fair enough. Go on.
Go off,
Yeah,
son.
go on. Like, oh my gosh. And he was kind of just like touching them. But his arms were all red. And I was like, you're cold, boy. I know you are.
And you know what? It doesn't change. The grade 2 to grade like 12 and 11, because I work in secondary school.
Yeah.
It doesn't change. They do the same
I know
stuff.
I know.
I have to work on editing myself too. Certain things, like no, like also in like class that I'm like, boy,
Be quiet.
be quiet. You know, like catching yourself sometimes being too casual or like.
Yeah. I called one of my students the other day, dude.
Yeah.
Because I was so done with his attitude. I was like, okay, dude. Because I was just like, I can't even deal with you anymore. Like, I'm so done.
I'm
like,
done.
Yeah.
But then the kids love it when you can be real with them too, because a lot of times in secondary school they just want to have conversation. They want to be treated as equal like adults, and so a lot of the times when like if they don't get their homework, I'm like, boy, you know you were supposed to get that done,
Right.
and they're like, yeah, and I'm like, okay, so you spending time with me at lunch, and it's like, yeah, okay, I guess, but yeah, they just want to be conversated, and they're still like little kids as much as they seem so grown and like they think they're the you know the shit, but they're not. They're not, but like they're just little children
They're
inside,
just, like, faking it, portraying what they see on social media into the classrooms,
but they really just want to be accepted and loved and cared for and like
Validated.
seen.
Validated.
Yeah.
Which is very fair. I mean, we talk about like child's rights and all that kind of stuff. There is wisdom to children.
Oh, for sure.
And youth and
Oh,
that kind
yes.
of thing. And also they have so much to learn still. And it's actually funny, like remembering what you were like at that age and being like, I can't believe my mom is telling me to do something. Like, how rude. And then like I was like 18, and then like now I'm like, my sister's 18.
Yeah.
And I'm like, yo, was I this?
Yeah.
Was I like this? Was I like this out to lunch about like life? And I'm like, yeah, I guess I was. But it's funny to be like, now I'm the auntie who's like, yo, you guys better learn. Listen to me. Don't repeat the mistakes. But then they got to do the same thing to like go through it.
It's
and
a
then be
part
like,
of life.
Oh, you were right.
Yeah.
Are you like, I always had to find out on my own.
Yes.
Like, and still to this day, like my mom or someone older than me can tell me, hey, don't do this, but I have to experience everything myself.
Yeah.
Like you can tell me, but I won't click until I feel it.
Now, do you, once you feel it, go back to your mom and go, Mommy, I'm
so sorry.
I'm sorry. Or do you like, if it was like years later, be like, remember that one time 3 years ago when you told me to do something? You were right.
I don't even know. I am still so deep in it right now
Yeah,
that
fair.
I like can't even reflect fully. But yeah, we'll see.
I've had moments like that where I'm like, oh yeah, well.
Yeah.
Like also experiencing and seeing what these kids are doing, and I'm like, yeah. I did that.
Yeah.
I walked around with my tank top.
Oh,
I was cold.
I wasn't cold.
Yeah.
I was freezing.
But it was
Tell me
cool. It was
why
cute.
I wore
So
heels
hard.
to high school. What am I doing?
No.
Anyways,
cute.
yes, that's what I did. I did.
She was looking cute.
I was looking cute. I thought I looked like
Good.
amazing. You know what? But that was like exploring. You have to go through all of these
Yeah.
things and all these changes. And secondary school is like one of the hardest times in your life. The kids are going through so much.
Yeah.
Their emotions, their hormones. They're trying to live with social pressures, what you're supposed to look like, how you're supposed to be. So I don't know. Me as a teacher, I just want to be a place where kids can like laugh, have fun, also just like feel like they're accepted and and cared for, and like that they can do it. Like every time, like the amount of times these kids are like, "No, I'm just so stupid." I'm like,
Yeah.
no, none of that language. It actually really matters.
Language
I have
is
to tell
critical.
yes, it is.
Do you find that some kids are like very like down on themselves?
Yeah.
That's so
I don't know if it's like this culture or like people are just like
Is it the
the sarc.
pressure?
It's this. I don't know if it's like
I'm
the
joking. It's like,
sarcasm or like just like the constant downgrading that they just want to be funny.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
it's definitely like I have to remind kids to be like, no, you are smart. The I can statement in education we use I can. The students can, right?
Yeah.
I can.
Yeah.
I can statements are very powerful.
I mean, from a person who's not in the education system, I think that's even more important for Black youth to get that from Black teachers. Because a non-Black teacher can tell me, hey, you're so brilliant. And like, you believe it. But if a Black teacher told me I was brilliant, wow.
Yeah.
My heart would just fly.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? It means something so much more magnificent
Yeah.
when like Abby is telling me, I'm like, this 17-year-old who's like, I can't do it. And you're like, babes, you can.
Yeah.
I can walk you through this.
Yeah.
And you're also you're brilliant. Let's just like work through this.
Yeah.
So that's why I think even more so we need more Black teachers
Oh,
and
yeah.
educators, because it's not gonna hit as hard.
We just need like more Black people like in positions of leadership, like in all sectors, because
Yes.
like the motto and
Yeah.
like my motto, it's not mine, but like I love the thing, like representation matters.
Yeah.
Like it's like so important for kids to be able to like see themselves in positions of leadership and whatever, so they know, okay, like there's a place for me here, and I don't have to limit myself to these two sort of pathways that people put on Black people. And I love that's when you're saying like the diverse experiences that we go through. Like Black
Yes.
is very diverse, and when you are here, it seems like a monologue. It seems
Yeah.
like one identity that all Black people have. And so when we come together, we see, oh my gosh, like we have similarities, but we also have so many differences, and to celebrate that is so just cool.
I love it.
Yeah.
Celebrate it, and also not be in competition with
Yes.
each other.
That's a whole other
Like,
podcast episode.
We say it often. We can all exist like with our conference that we had this
Yeah.
month for International Women's Day. It was a leadership conference with 3 powerful founders of Narissa from Black Business Association and Trish from Synergy and Natizia from Black Women Connect Vancouver. They came together to create this conference because they're like, we are leaders in all of our different areas, but we can also be together
Coexist.
and coexist and
support each other.
Yeah.
And they did say that on the Friday night evening. They were like, people were surprised that we came together and worked together. Like, it's so counter societal for like us as Black people to work together because we're always fighting for like a piece of the pie. But there's so much pie. There's so much pie.
Let's spread it out.
Exactly.
Everybody can have a piece.
Also, I want to plug in because you're talking about like, you know, youth. Whenever we have a youth conference.
Yes, we do.
In the summer called Empower Black Girls. So if you got a youth girl, 13 to 18 in the Lower Mainland, check it out.
Check out our page.
Because that's going to have a lot of Black women who show up of diverse sectors and all that kind of stuff pouring into Black youth.
And even if you know somebody who is not really of that age range, or somebody that wants to help, please look at our page, Black Women Connect Vancouver.ca, not com. We're in Canada. But if you look on our website, you can click on Empowered Black Girl and find out more information about that. But lastly, I want to ask you one question. If you were to give advice to an aspiring Black educator, because there's educators, don't just think teachers. There's so many people in this school. There's EAs, there's counselors, there's youth care workers. There's like so many people in this school that are educators to these students in the community outside of just the school setting. What was I saying?
The advice.
Like,
what advice would you give them? Yeah.
Like, pick your battle.
Yeah.
Protect your peace.
Yes, that's true.
Find people to support. Find a good support system because it's not an easy 35 plus years. Right? That's how long you have to work till you have to retire, apparently.
Yeah.
It's a long time. Yeah. Find your people and just know like how much value not only the Black kids that you're giving into the school, but like all kids that you're giving to this school. Remember that Maya Angelou, I come as one, but I stand as 10,000, that you have a huge people behind you, rooting for you, wanting for your best, and whatever you need to do, just do that, whether it's you step away from education for 6 months if you need to, or you step up to a leadership position for just listen to what you need to do. But that's
I love it. Take care of yourself.
Take care of yourself.
Yeah. Protect your peace.
Yeah.
Word. Thank you, Shayla. Thank you so much for being here. It's a hard topic sometimes talking about this stuff because it's like there's still so much work to do within education, but it's also really rewarding.
Yeah.
It's really rewarding.
It's the best. We wouldn't do it if it.
No.
No. And again, the future is bright.
The future is bright.
The future is bright with these two going, you know.
The future is bright and the future is black.
Yes, it is blackity black, black. Thank you so much for being a part of this episode. We are on all streaming platforms, Spotify, YouTube. What else? Apple.
Other things.
Check it out, girl. You know it. We love being here.
Yeah.
Everybody, have a great afternoon, evening, morning, day, anytime you're watching. Enjoy your life. Protect your peace. And support your Black educators. Yes.
Thank you for listening to our podcast episode. You can find us on all streaming platforms, and you can watch our video recording up on YouTube channel, Black Women Connect Vancouver. Until next time.